Uganda's elections in early 2016 have been criticized and rejected by the United States and European Union as fraudulent. The incumbent, Yoweri Museveni, was re-elected by an alleged majority, continuing his 30-year-long reign. Since the election results were announced, the opposition leader and other party members have been repeatedly arrested and intimidated. Despite holding elections, many say that actions like these are more in line with a dictatorship than a republic or democracy. So how do presidents become dictators? Well, in the case of Uganda, Museveni was not originally voted into presidency. In 1986, after years of competing government factions and coups, Museveni's faction overthrew the capital and instituted him as president, promising democracy. But with the new president came strict limits on opposition political parties. They could not gather, produce candidates, or almost any other action which would threaten the existing presidency. In 2005, Museveni allegedly paid parliament members $2,000 each to abolish presidential term limits, keeping him in power. The following elections in 2006 and 2011 were marred by voter disenfranchisement. Museveni's rule has seen severe human rights abuses and even an attempted anti-homosexuality bill referred to as the Kill the Gays bill. Another country with a similarly dictatorial president is Cameroon. President Paul Biya has been in power since he was appointed prime minister in 1975, leading to the longest-running non-monarchy leadership in the world. In 1982, he replaced the country's president. And since 1997, Western countries have alleged voter fraud in every Cameroonian election, all of which Biya has won by a significant margin. In 2008, he was prevented from running again by constitutional term limits. Not unlike Museveni, Biya used his influence in parliament, and the term limits were lifted by 157 to just 5 votes. 15 members of parliament protested the vote, saying it was a constitutional coup d'etat. The change also granted the president immunity for any illegal actions committed while in power. Reports of torture by police and extreme censorship by jailing journalists have been representative of Biya's authoritative rule. Perhaps the worst of presidents turned dictators is Robert Mugabe of Zimbabwe. Although in 1980 he did win the popular vote, making him the first prime minister of the newly independent Zimbabwe, things almost immediately took a turn for the worse. The country was established as a one-party state, leaving only Mugabe's party in charge. He even created a North Korean-trained security force to stifle dissidents. Numerous allegations of ethnic cleansing leading to more than 20,000 deaths were levied on the regime in the 1980s. In 1987, under Mugabe's direction, the roles of prime minister, president, and commander-in-chief were collapsed into one presidential role. This presidency was also able to dissolve parliament and suspend constitutional protections. Mugabe's level of absolute authoritarian power, coupled with rampant corruption, election fraud, mass murder, and extreme homophobia, make him one of the worst presidential dictators in the world. And these are not the only ones. There are dozens of similarly dictatorial presidents around the world. When a president controls more than one branch of government, they are able to invalidate constitutional guarantees like term limits or habeas corpus. Although they do not call themselves dictators, a multi-decade regime of fraudulent power is pretty tough to call democratic. If you want to learn more about what other countries are suffering under oppressive regimes, you can check out this video about which countries still have dictators.